Hey everybody, welcome to a very special You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Devon.
And I love that you did that for an audio podcast.
I absolutely did. I did for those.
Appreciate that. No one else is gonna know what you did.
Oh.
I'm gonna know.
It's just for you, Alan. Don't you dare explain it.
So we're starting something new on the show. That's going to go for about the next month and a half or so, maybe 2 months, because there's other stuff happening afterwards. But we're going to do some episodes talking about Game of Thrones. And it's mostly going to be Devon and I. Ryan might sit in on a few. Ryan's not here tonight. He's got some grayscale he's dealing with that he had to go to urgent care this morning. So hopefully the masters will be able to, the maesters will be able to heal him up and get him back here in time for next week's premiere. But yeah, Devon and I are going to talk some Game of Thrones. In case you've been living under a rock, the final season of Game of Thrones premieres a week from now. Like, we're recording this on Sunday night. So in 1 week, we'll be doing this again, talking about the premiere. So
I'm so excited. Final
season's coming out. It's 6 episodes, I believe.
I think so, yeah. But they're going to be really long episodes, right?
They're going to be very. That's part of what I wanted to talk about. Like, the episodes this season are going to be almost feature length. The premiere is 54 minutes, but some of them get up to like an hour and a half. So,
wow. I mean, great. Because I don't know. When I heard it was only 6 episodes, I went, they have a lot of plot lines to wrap up and only 6 episodes to do it.
Yeah. Well, I just finished a rewatch, and like I binged the last 2 episodes of season 7 last night. So it was North of the Wall and then the finale. And North of the Wall is a long ass episode. Like, that's what the length of these episodes are going to be. It's going to be the longer ones. So, and it didn't feel like that one was 1 hour and 10 minutes. So 70 minutes long. It's
around
decent.
The same time. Yeah.
It's decent for a Game of Thrones episode. A lot happens in that episode. Like, they're not wasting any more time. Like, the first few seasons of this show were just like, okay, we're going to take our time getting everyone where they need to be. Like, somebody leaves King's Landing in episode 2. They get to wherever. Somebody leaves Winterfell in episode 2. They get to King's Landing in episode 4. Now it's like 5 minutes later where Daenerys goes from Dragonstone to North of the Wall to save everyone.
We got to talk about that eventually. That's
So yeah, that was one of the weird criticisms of the last season 7. Was just that everything was going by so fast. But I think
the first couple seasons followed George R.R. Martin's books so closely, and his books are not fast things. They're very slow. They're very methodical. They're very character driven. And then now they're like, and then they're here, and then they're here, and now there's a nice dragon. And it's like, whoa, Game of Thrones, hold on.
And honestly, part of it, like rewatching it, like I started my rewatch back in August and just finished it last night because I took my time with it. I didn't want to rush it. But then like the last week, I was like, oh shit, I need to finish season 7. Like, I haven't even touched it yet. Like, rewatching it, it felt a lot faster. Like, maybe it's just because I didn't have to wait the period of time in between episodes, but things went a lot quicker than I remember them going.
Sure.
So
maybe it is the lack of break.
Yeah. And maybe it's also just knowing what's coming. Like, when you don't know, maybe it drags it out a little bit more. Like, and maybe I also have like a better idea of where everything is now. Because I've been watching this since the first season. So I finally know characters' names. Like, it took like 3 watches of the whole show to understand who Varys is and Lord Baelish. Like, I know everyone's names now. Like, if you show me pictures, I can take a BuzzFeed quiz and probably pass with names.
So how was watching it a second time around now that you knew what happened? Did you catch little things you didn't before? You're like, oh my God, they hinted at that in like season 1. Or is it like,
oh yeah,
what do you think it is?
There's a whole bunch of foreshadowing when it comes to Jon Snow's lineage.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of hints. There's also there's a whole bunch of stuff. Mostly with that is what I picked up on because I know that stuff.
Yeah.
But also just knowing characters' names and how people are connected, like Mormont. Like, I understand that the little girl who's a badass from Bear Island is Jorah's like niece or something.
Right.
So like I understand the family connections now and all the sigils and
that's cool.
But yeah, mostly it was just like foreshadowing, like little hints about what's going to come in the story.
Yeah.
Especially around the Red Wedding. Like that's when I noticed it the most, like just understanding who's getting married and what their connection is to everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get back into foreshadowing when we make our predictions for the final season.
Good.
So Devon, when did you start watching Game of Thrones?
So I'm annoying, and I'm going to be annoying, and bear with me for like 8 seconds. I started reading the books and being vehemently opposed to anything that had to do with the TV show.
Okay.
So basically what happened is I had one of my friends was reading Game of Thrones, like the very first book. I saw him reading, went, "Oh, have the dwarves attacked the elves in the Elvenshire yet?" And he went, "That's not that kind of fantasy. It's a whole other thing." And I went, "Sure, fantasy sucks." And then like one of my friends like forced me to watch the first episode of this, and I went, "Okay, well I have to be shitty about this still." So, because I really liked the first episode, and the shittiest thing I could think was to be the guy that loved the books but couldn't stand the TV show. So I read the books, and I loved the books, and I read all five books, and then the TV show just kept going, and I had to watch the TV show. And damn it, I really like the TV show now. So I'm gonna be honest, I've never seen Game of Thrones season 2. Okay. I just know what's happening because I picked it up and went, okay, that person is Daenerys, that person is Jon Snow, there's the Hound, there's the Mountain, got it. And like just like went from there. And yeah, that's my like history of Game of Thrones. What about you, Alan?
I started watching first season because that was around the time HBO Go came out. So I was like, oh yeah. I'm gonna use my parents' login because I still am a dependent technically, so it's legal. So I started watching, like that was one of the first things I started watching. It was Game of Thrones, and then I did a Star Trek movie marathon, like all of the Star Trek movies, like from motion picture up to First Contact, because after that nothing counts.
A lot more humpback whales in that than Game of Thrones.
Hello, computer.
Good.
Okay, so you never watched season 2?
Never watched season 2. Never watched season 3.
Okay.
It was a Battle of Blackwater. I've never seen like depicted in film, and someone was like, "You got to watch it," and I'm like, "Nah, I know what happens."
Okay, I will send you a link to a video. Cinema Sins did a branch off called TV Sins, and they're going through and doing select episodes of Game of Thrones. They just did Blackwater.
Oh shit!
So I'll have to send you that just so you can see it because it sums it up pretty well.
Good.
Okay.
So how do you feel on the series one of the big criticisms that I hear from some people is that once the TV show gets away from where the books ended, it turns into a whole other thing. And I may be on one side or the other, but don't want to influence your opinion. Alan, how do you feel?
I mean, from the get-go of the show, the only reason the creators of the show were able to do the show and got the rights was because Martin asked them, who are Jon Snow's parents? And they answered correctly.
Fucking great question, by the way.
So since they were able to figure it out from the context clues of the books that were out at the time, they've known where the show was going. So they knew where his storyline was going. They knew where the Song of Fire and Ice was going to end. So once they got away from the books, they had to take their own path. Like I'm sure George R.R. Martin is helping them. But they have a lot of creative liberty, and I think that's part of the reason the show is kind of sped up in pace. Yeah. And I definitely enjoy that. Like the last 2 seasons of the show are my favorite. Like once once all the pieces are together, everyone knows who everyone is. People who have never interacted before but have heard of each other are meeting for the first time. Like Jon Snow and Jorah talking on their way north to get the White Walker about the sword. And just like the Mountain talking to Tormund about Brienne of Tarth. He's like, you've laid with Brienne of Tarth. He's like, not yet. Like that whole scene, like you don't like if it wasn't for all like the past 6 seasons of build up, you wouldn't get that payoff. And I feel like we're just in payoff territory at this point.
Yes, and I completely agree. I don't know how much I like payoff territory if it borders on fan service, though. Because what it almost feels like is that books end and then they go, all right, look, we've tortured you long enough. Here's what you want. Here's an ice dragon. Here's all these cool things that I know fan service wants.
I mean, I think there's like they can get away with the fan service because when he will finish the books, I hope.
Right.
When he finishes the books,
too.
he's going to be able to do it his way and not lean as heavily on the fan service. But as much as there is fan service of these characters getting to know each other and it's fun and I laugh and I enjoy it, you still get those heartbreaking moments of, oh, hey, that dragon's dead.
Right.
Like, and it's an ice dragon now. So everyone's fucked. Like like you need to, it's like building the Avengers. Like everyone's coming together against this giant threat and enemies become allies. And then Cersei's off by her own being a bitch. All
right. Yeah. So, and that's the one thing I do want to be clear about is I'm never going to be strictly a book enthusiast. Like I loved the books, but I will never sit here and go, it's not in the books, so it's not worth talking about. Because I don't care. The books do a lot of shitty things too. Like Catelyn comes back for some fucking reason in the books. I don't love that.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think the books are these like perfect things. I just know there are differences and can like talk about them sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that the books were finished and kept up with the show. Like I wish like in a perfect world, that's what would have happened, but that's not the world we're living in. And that sucks, but I'm sure that they have outlines of what was supposed to happen. And
yeah, I mean, I was told they know in broad strokes how George R.R. Martin wants it to end and that they're going to stay true to that in broad strokes.
Yeah. So once those books come out, I will probably read those.
Great.
It's one of those things where I'll probably just start reading the books after the show ends, just so I know. Cause like it at a certain point, it's like, okay, this is one interpretation of this. And then this is another one. So it's the same story, but just two different paths. And it's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. And I'm still going to read the books, even though like the show, like even if, I mean, let's be honest, he'll probably do the next book after the show is over, but I feel like now there's so much pressure on him to be different because people know the story now and they're not going to be like, well, I just want to read what I put down. I think they're going to, he has this pressure to be unique now with the characters and setting.
Which is interesting because I want to know what happens with that. Because if that is the case, where does it go? Like, what does he do different?
Yes. Right.
So,
well, I mean, I think in the books, Brianna Tarth is dead now.
Oh, really?
Or at least it's strongly hinted because like Catelyn like finds her again, is like, you didn't fulfill your oath to me, and like hangs her. And the last like part that she has is she like screams sapphires as she's being hung. And like it's open-ended enough that in the next book, if he goes, and then she cut her down and she's fine and they're friends again, I get it. But also they left it on enough of an ambiguous ending that I could be like, yeah, she's dead.
Podrick just pulls out his dick and cuts down the branch.
Podrick is the best character in the world. Throwing that out there.
Is he the best in the books?
No, they make him a little shit in the books. Okay. Yeah.
No, he'll probably end up winning the Game of Thrones.
I hope he does. He deserves it.
Okay. So while we're on this topic, we've never really talked about this that much.
Okay.
I just know we're both excited for it. Who do you want to win the Game of Thrones?
Who I want to win and who will win are two different people. Do we care?
Tell me both.
I think that it's going to end up being Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen, or all the Targaryens. It'll be their baby. That's who's going to be it. I want it to be Varys so bad.
Okay. That's a good answer.
I think it's funny. It's just a cool, like, you're just sitting up like, like all like looking all judgmental at everyone. That's what I want.
Now I want that too.
Right. Right. So tell me yours. Who do you do you think is different than who it is?
I definitely want Jon and Daenerys to win it. What I think will happen is they will win it and break the wheel and destroy the throne and bring harmony to the Seven Kingdoms.
And do you think the act of destroying the throne is enough to bring the harmony?
I think the act of defeating the White Walkers is enough to bring the harmony, protecting the realm. I think I want Tyrion to be there too, because there's the whole prophecy of the 3-headed dragon.
Oh, right. There is. I forgot about that.
And I'm also going to get into fan theories a little bit now. I'm a big fan of the theory that Tyrion is a Targaryen.
Yes.
Have you heard this theory?
I have. Okay. And I subscribe to it as well.
In summary, for anyone listening who hasn't heard this, the theory is Tyrion's mother was raped by the Mad King and then gave birth to Tyrion and died in childbirth because the Targaryen blood line is like really hard to give birth to, which is also why like Jon's mom died. Mm-hmm. So I definitely buy that theory. Like I really want that to happen. Yeah. Like
it ties enough together, I think.
Like up until like the end of last season, I wanted the 3 of them to each have a dragon.
Right. Oh my gosh.
But
what if it's like the White Walker though? Like what if he was like a dead Targaryen? How would you feel about that if it was that?
I like that a little bit more than it's Bran.
I like that so much more. Is it supposed to be Bran?
That's one of the theories out there, is that Bran is the Night King.
No, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Can we be real about Bran for a second? I don't love his storyline.
I like that they've backed off on it a lot.
Yes.
Because like they kind of stopped doing it for a bit. Like he stopped going into like the past and all of that.
Yeah.
And then like you forget about it, and then they have that scene with Littlefinger.
Oh yeah.
Where he just tells him everything that he said. Nobody was there. And I was like,
yeah,
you pulled a knife on our father. It's like, oh shit. That's right.
Yeah,
you can time travel.
And I feel like now they don't have anywhere else to go with him though. Like he did the uncovering the Targaryen thing. He did the Littlefinger thing. Like what else is he going to do now?
I think another thing that he does, kind of like he did with Hodor, I think he goes back and talks to the Mad King. I think he's part of the reason the Mad King goes mad, because he hears voices. And I think it's Bran.
Interesting. Huh. All right. I like that a lot. I hope that happens.
That's one thing I want to see from this season is more time travel fuckery, but not to the point where he's the Night King.
Right.
I like the idea that Bran is all the Brans, all the Brandons, like Bran the Builder. I like that a lot. Because
that's a theory?
Yeah, that is a theory. Like he built the wall.
That's kind of sick. I like that.
Yeah, I don't like that he's the Night King, but I like that he's the one who built the wall.
Yeah.
So,
aren't they doing a spinoff series that takes place during the Mad King, or am I getting my?
They are doing several spinoff series. The first one is going to be before the Targaryens, before the Starks, like thousands of years before Westeros as we know it.
Interesting. That's cool, because there is a lot of story to be had there.
There is.
Because they talk a lot about them, like the children of the forest, the people that became the White Walkers. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the show's going to be. HBO has a lot of shows on the burner that I don't know what they're going to be. Like, that's a spinoff. They have this Sopranos spinoff movie. Like, they have like weird stuff coming. So they have the Watchmen show. Have you heard about this?
I have, and I'm so excited. I love the Watchmen.
The fact that it's Damon Lindelof, like going back to Lost, like that makes me excited. But after watching The Leftovers, I'm like, hell yeah, give me any. Like, just take my money.
Yes.
So,
I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. So, I have a list from Forbes magazine of the top 8 predictions of Game of Thrones for season 8. Do you want to get into this?
Let's get into it. Let's see what let's see what they say.
All right. Prediction number 1, Jaime will die a martyr.
Maybe. When it comes to Jaime, the only thing I know for sure, like the only thing that I think will happen with him, besides him going north, because that's where he's going at the end of the season, the only thing I know that will happen with him is that I think will happen. I think he's going to kill his sister.
That's what I want. That's where I was going to go with it. I think they're both going to die together, though. I think it's going to be one of those like poetic moments, and it almost has to be like at the beginning of everything, because like right now it's literally just her against everyone else. Yeah, like it's this weird 3-sided war that's like not even 3-sided.
Yeah, it's weird because going back to like the very first episode, those two characters, Jamie and Cersei, are what got me like to watch the next one.
Yes,
like,
absolutely. That end scene with Bran in the window.
Yeah, like that's definitely like what got me into the show. I was like, okay, this is fine. And then that happens. Like, what the shit? Like, I had no clue what to expect from the show. It's like, if they're going to do that in the first episode, damn. Mm-hmm. So,
right.
Yeah. So like that whole relationship has been like very core to the show. So I really want to see what the payoff is there. So,
right. Well, and then the next theory actually piggybacks off of that is Cersei will almost drive humanity to extinction.
I buy that. Like,
you buy that? I don't know if I buy that.
I think her holding her forces back in the South is going to hurt them.
Yeah.
I don't think the Battle of Winterfell took 53 days to shoot for no reason. I think it's going to get bad and ugly. So
I hope so.
The worst part about that is I know when that episode airs, and that's going to be a rough weekend because it's the weekend of Endgame.
Oh no!
So between Game of Thrones and Avengers Endgames, a Starks or multiple Starks are going to die.
Yeah, how many Starks do you think will be left? I think one.
I don't know. I don't. I want the 3 Stark kids to live.
I don't think Sansa is going to live. I don't think she makes it the whole way through the season.
If in a world where she dies, I want her to die killing Cersei.
Okay, I don't hate that. Because that would do a good job of tying up her storyline. All right, here's a question: who's the best person to kill Cersei then? Because everyone's got a fucking reason for it. I still think it's Jamie. I think that they started everything together. I think that they're twins. I think they had that connection. I think it makes the most thematic sense.
Yeah, I think he's the best. I think Sansa's a close second. I think Tyrion's very low on that list.
Okay. And then that brings me to another, according to George R. R. Martin's wife, he cannot kill Arya Stark. He just can't. He's not allowed to. Something, they'll divorce. Do you think the show will follow the same rules and keep her around the whole time?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think she's gone through enough training and knows enough that she's able to defend herself and survive.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be with everyone else, but I think she'll live on.
Okay. Yeah. I can get behind that.
Yeah. I can see her being part of the king or queen's guard when all of this is said and done.
Oh, that would be cool. I like that ending for her a lot.
Yeah.
All right. So the next one is Jon Snow won't escape death. Because he's technically dead now, right? Like he's just, he's basically like a zombie, like a White Walker, but for the sun god.
I mean, the Brotherhood brought back the eye patch guy several times. I wouldn't count the two of them as zombies though. I would just say that they've got a new lease on life. Like at the end of when they're on the island surrounded by all the walkers in the ice, the Hound turns to the guy from the Brotherhood, who I don't know his name. Like that's one side character. Like he was in like 5 episodes. I'm not learning his name.
Yeah.
But the Hound turns to him and is like, you're on your last life now. So like, I think that's a life. Like I think it's not that they're zombies, but I think they can't cheat death anymore because the guy who was bringing them back is dead. So you got Melisandre around somewhere.
Where is she now at the end of the season? Where did she end up?
She left Westeros, but she said to Varys when Jon Snow arrived at Dragonstone, I'm leaving, but I have to come. I will be back because I have to die in Westeros. So she's going to be back. She has to die. She's going to die. That's one death that I know is coming. And she might die bringing back Jon Snow. Who knows?
That would be neat.
That would.
All right. Next one is Daenerys will survive everything. I
completely buy that.
Do you?
Yeah. She can't die in fire. We know that.
Right.
Short of, and if she does die, it's going to be by an arrow because they've hinted at that multiple times now.
Yeah. All right. So my sadistic heart doesn't want her to survive everything in the same way that I was happy to see Ned Stark die at the end of season 1, which means that was the moment where I went, holy shit, anything can happen in this series. And for a while, it hasn't really felt like that.
Yeah.
Like I haven't had that same like, oh no. So like if Daenerys dies like episode 1 of this next season, like that'll give me that same kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen.
That reminds me. Have you seen Maisie Williams, who plays Arya Stark, was on Jimmy Fallon last week? Did
yes,
you see
and
this?
it was wonderful.
She went on and was talking about like her character's path in Game of Thrones, and like in the new season, she dies in the second episode, and then she just got really quiet. She's like, I shouldn't have said that. I've said too much. And she like got really freaked out. And then the whole thing turned out to be an April Fool's joke that they were pulling on the audience, but like she got really into it. Like, damn.
Oh yeah.
Like that was
a
fantastic.
good actress though.
And like you could tell that the audience was like, I guess we can't say anything about this. We don't want to get this poor girl in trouble. Like,
they like had, it was so awkward in the, like you could feel the awkward tension in the audience.
But then again, like if something like that did happen and somebody started tweeting, hey, I was just at the Tonight Show taping and Arya Stark dies, and the people are gonna be like, no, like that's not going to happen. No one's going to believe that. Like that's not how things get leaked. Episodes get hacked and then leaked. Like that's what people believe. Not like, I was in the audience at the Tonight Show at Rockefeller Center and
right, exactly. All right, so next prediction is Tormund and Brienne will be granted a happy ending.
I hope so for Tormund.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen because of Brienne.
No, I think on this, I don't know if I don't think Brienne's going to get a happy ending. I just don't. And part of it is because I gave away that little thing about the books. So I think that something will happen to her and like the showrunners will be fine with it from an overarching standpoint. I think that like she'll die in battle or something like that, and that'll just be okay.
She'll either die. This is my prediction for Brienne of Tarth.
Okay.
She will go to sacrifice herself to protect one of the Stark girls.
Oh, I like that.
But instead, Jaime takes the sacrifice.
Ooh.
Jaime steps in and saves her. And maybe she doesn't have to sacrifice herself. Maybe they both live then, but Jaime steps in and saves the day.
Right in the fucking feels, dude. I like that a lot.
He just walks in and slaps a White Walker with his brass hand.
Boom. Oh, man, that would be so cool. Does Jaime get an obsidian hand this season? Because he should.
Oh, that would be awesome. Like a dagger hand.
Would be, yeah.
Like he just
that
like,
would be cool.
He's like Jason Patrick in Terminator 2. Like he's just like stabbing White Walkers.
Jabbing them. I would be so helpful. I want it.
Yeah, I want him to get a dragonglass hand.
Absolutely. All right, next one. Arya will provide a face swap plot twist.
I don't, at this point in the game, when they're fighting the White Walkers, I don't know what the point of that would be.
Yeah, so this part of the list, and I read ahead a little bit, is where I start disagreeing with Forbes a lot. I think I think you're right that it doesn't make any sense. And I think that like, it's just such like a vague thing where like Arya's just like, it's me. Like, I don't know. I don't love that prediction at all. Sorry, Forbes, try harder.
Yeah. I don't see, of all the things that they've brought up in the show, I don't see that one coming back as a big thing. I can see it coming back as like a little thing, but the fact that they didn't even use that when they were deceiving Littlefinger makes me think that it's not something that's going to happen. But like,
I think it's a tool for her and not a plot twist device. And I think I like that use of it.
Yeah, I think there are things in the show that they have brought up and played minor parts in character arcs that will come back.
Yeah.
Like Grayscale. I think Grayscale will have a part to play.
Interesting.
Because I've read a theory about that. Like I read a headline of a theory. I didn't actually read the theory, but I was like, oh, that'd be interesting. And then I had
a headline.
It was just that what Grayscale will mean for the final season of Game of Thrones. Like it's the, you don't show a gun on the table unless you're going to use the gun in a movie. Like it's that whole thing. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like that could come back. Maybe that's how they defeat the White Walkers or something. Yeah. But just reading that headline and starting thinking about it a little bit, I had a lucid dream about it.
What?
So yeah. You were at my parents' house
Oh yeah,
we went to high school together. For anyone who is just listening to the Game of Thrones episodes, so I had a lucid dream that my parents' backyard was Winterfell.
Yes,
and that playhouse that we had was the castle, and I'm in the middle of the Battle of Winterfell, and at one point, Jorah rides off to King's Landing to get Cersei with Grayscale, and then comes back, like being chased by the Stone Men. Like, so like they all came in and like started attacking too. And then I woke up, but I was like, that's the weirdest dream I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
It was crazy. Like dragons were flying around my parents' house. It was crazy.
Oh man.
I don't know if I was on like cough medicine or what, but it was messed up. But I was like, yeah, maybe Grayscale. Maybe I'm just hallucinating, but
either way, I loved it. Either way, you need to have more of those.
Yes, I do.
All right. Next one is, and I hate this one, but I kind of get it. Sansa will betray the family somehow.
I mean, I think they played a lot into that in the end of the last season. And then with the reveal that she didn't, I don't think they're going to go that route again. I think they have to stop it. It's been done. I don't think it's going to happen again. So
I think at most, and I think I haven't read like their justification or anything like that. I think we maybe come from is Cersei dies and Sansa goes, okay, now I'm queen. And then everyone goes, oh, now we have to deal with this. But like, I don't see it. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't see how it would happen unless she just betrays Jon and somehow. But with everything at stake, I don't think it'll happen. Because I do get from like the trailer that I see that she's hesitant to bend the knee to Daenerys. Yeah. So I don't know. I think there's going to be tension there. I don't think it's going to be enough that she betrays the Starks.
Yeah.
Fun side note about Sophie Turner.
Oh yeah.
I know this isn't a big deal to you because you live in LA, but the Jonas Brothers had a surprise concert in State College on Friday night.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
And Sophie Turner was with them.
Aw.
So they were at this bar that used to be the old Applebee's. Oh no, the old Chili's downtown. Like that's a huge sports bar now and like a club. And so the Jonas Brothers did a concert there, and there's video of Sophie Turner like in this the risers like VIP seating, and the whole crowd of Penn State students are just chanting Lady Stark.
Yes.
So like I was watching everything. Like the Penn State football coach came out and introduced the Jonas Brothers. Like, let's show them how Penn State parties. It's like, wow, that place has changed so much since I went to school there. Like, that's crazy that the football coach is like introducing a pop band from Disney Channel. Like, it's just so weird.
Crazy. Yeah. That's fun though.
Yeah.
I also, my other favorite fact about Sophie Turner is her sausage review Instagram. She had one and doesn't keep up with it, and it's a shame, but it's an Instagram where she eats sausage and reviews it for you.
Oh, what's it called?
Sophie's Sausage Review. Sausage Reviews.
I am the podcast is following that right now.
Good, because she needs to start posting more. Sophie Turner, if you're listening to the podcast, because I know you are, keep reviewing sausages. I appreciate your outlook. All right, so last plot is something we touched, or last prediction is something we touched on a little bit, and I think they're wholeheartedly wrong. Bran won't do anything.
I mean, I think he's going to do something.
I think they think he's out for the season. They think what I thought before we had the conversation. I'm like, well, his plot line's over. Yeah,
I don't know if it's over. I think you don't make him the three-eyed raven without some payoff. Right. Something big is going to happen for every character that we've gotten to know over these last few seasons.
Right.
So there's going to be a big payoff for Bran, Tyrion, Varys. Everyone gets a payoff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, him doing nothing makes no sense. Jon Snow knowing nothing, that makes sense. But
aw. I want that to be how to play into the finale somehow, where if he had only known this thing, that would be funny.
I mean, he doesn't know his lineage.
He does now, though.
Does he? He doesn't.
That's right. He doesn't, does he?
Sam and Bran were like, we should tell John. And they just cut to him having sex with his aunt.
Do you think, all right, so we have a friend, and I'm not going to tell who the friend is, who is really mad about that ending because it was, I mean, obviously because it was incest, but was mad about it because up until that point, everyone went, Game of Thrones incest, ew. And then that was the one where Game of Thrones was like, now it's okay suddenly. Did you get that same vibe? I feel like our friend forced it, and then it made me feel weird about it.
So when it comes to them having sex, it's weird. Like, if you don't pay that much attention to the show, the incest there is just kind of like the Lannister one. But if you pay attention to the fact that the Targaryen bloodline is so inbred that, like, if you're not of pure Targaryen blood, you die in childbirth, which is what happened to Jon's mom. And so I feel like in this fictional world, it's okay for them to do it.
Because that's just what the fat family does. Like,
that's what the family does.
It's just their thing. They're that royal family that does that. I mean, didn't other royal families in the real world do that? Like, George R. R. Martin isn't just some fucking creep that's like, and then a brother and sister. Like, that's been a thing in major, like in kingdoms, aristocracies.
Yes,
I'm gonna go with in the past.
Sounds right. Yeah, I definitely think that even like if you go back far enough with the royal family in Britain right now, like there's incest there. So
yeah, not defending that at all. By the way,
I think from a historical standpoint, both in the show and in real world, the royalty aspect of it would be inbred. Like I feel
and that was just a thing that happened to keep the bloodline pure.
Yes, and that leads me to my next question.
Oh, do tell.
Do you think she's going to have a baby? Or do you think she's going to be pregnant in the next season? Okay.
I think there is going to be a baby. I think she's going to have it, and that's going to be the king, and that's going to be the end.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely said so much in the last season, I can't have a child. I'm never going to have a child. Like, they laid into it so much that she could never have a child, that's definitely what's going to happen. So
right. Like, they have to. Or, like, I don't know. Or do you think they'll like become like the ruler of everything in like episode 3, and then someone's like, yeah, but you can't have kids, so we need someone else after you, and then that becomes like that's too much. That'd be too much.
I definitely think she's going to be pregnant, which will make fighting this battle interesting.
Absolutely, because it's not just her on the line now.
Yeah. So we haven't talked much about Tyrion.
I love Tyrion.
Yeah, Tyrion is the best.
I don't think he's going to survive.
I don't think he is either. I think he's going to last longer than we think he is.
Sure.
Like I think most of the people will make it past the Battle of Winterfell.
Okay.
I hope. I could be wrong.
Right.
There's a chance that everyone in Winterfell dies that weekend, and then the rest of the show is just Cersei fighting off the White Walkers.
Oh, I would hate that.
I would too. But all right, you never know.
Is Cersei going to get any kind of a redemption arc? Because she's like the only person in the series that hasn't had anything close to that.
I don't think she does.
No?
No, I think you're supposed to feel bad for her with her kids dying. But like her last son, like that was on her. Like that's
of course it was.
Do you think she's actually pregnant?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think she is. I think it was as shitty a move as when the lady in Gone Girl was pregnant. For those of you who have seen that movie, I think it was I think it was a shitty power play, but I think she's genuinely pregnant. I
see. Going into my rewatch, I was like, she's not actually pregnant. And then that scene with her and Tyrion in the finale, where he's like, "You're pregnant." I was like, "Oh fuck, she is, isn't she?" Like the fact that
Tyrion knows.
The fact that he was able to predict it and see it, like. When it comes to like worlds like this, I'm a big believer in prophecies, and the fact that the 3 children your children will all die and you'll have 3.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see this child living. I don't see her living to give birth to this child.
Oh.
But
interesting.
Or the child will live and she dies.
That would also be a weird twist, because then what do they do with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm on board.
How much time do you think the season's going to cover?
I think there's going to be a time jump. I was thinking about that on the way over. I think there's going to be a time jump. I think they're going to follow like the immediate consequences for 3 episodes. And then after 3 episodes, it's going to fast forward to a couple years later. And we're going to see the world in some sort of weird state.
I'll have to do some research.
Okay.
But because I don't know if this has happened on another show yet or not. There's a TV journalist that I follow named Michael Osiello who does a thing called Blind Items. Well, he will reveal a twist of a show and give you like vague details on what happens.
Yeah.
But not tell you what show it is until it airs.
No shit.
And a few months ago, he posted one about a show doing a 30-year time jump.
Whoa.
And I don't know if the show has been revealed yet. Hold on. I need to pause the show and look this up. Okay, so never mind on that. That one was revealed to be The Affair with Anna Paquin. But there's another one here that might be Game of Thrones related. It's this shocking pregnancy is sure to give fans pause. Rumor is a wildly popular Emmy-winning series on a premium cable network is plotting a pregnancy twist that promises to be surprising is an understatement. The plan is for the character's baby bump to be revealed when the show in question makes its anticipated return in 2019. Suffices to say that this unlikely pregnancy will have more than a few implications, both dramatic and darkly comedic. That's where they lose me on Game of Thrones.
No, it's going to be darkly comedic. It's going to be the weird Leia kisses her brother thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, you're my aunt. What?
Oh, and you're probably making an immediate assumption about the identity of the baby daddy, but you know what they say about people who assume, right? Yeah, like in the comments of this article, a lot of people are saying Game of Thrones. Like that's the first one.
But if it's not who we think it is, so it's not going to be Jon's baby because that's the most obvious one.
Yeah, I mean, unless you fuck Tyrion too.
He did look longingly at their room while they were doing it.
Oh my God, yeah. Like that's the weirdest part of that whole scene. Like
yeah, like Tyrion, come on.
Like my wife watched the show for a little bit, like the first season and maybe a little bit of 2, and then read some of the books, but she just doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
But as I was doing my rewatch last night, she was in the room and she was watching them walk through the snow. I was like, do you understand what's going on? She's like, yeah, they're walking dramatically for no reason at all. I was like, oh, you think that's great? Wait until Jon and Dany have sex and Tyrion just looks at the door like sad. She's like, wait, is that something that really happens? Like, yeah, it is. That totally happens. Yeah, I don't know. It could be Game of Thrones. It could not be. I might end up cutting all this out. I don't know.
Sure, whatever. I mean, I think it's at least interesting. Like, I think it's a cool thing that might happen, and like it's a cool TV prediction. I think it's just as valid, if not more, than the Forbes magazine ones, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap this up, we need to talk a little bit about some of the press that's been going on for Game of Thrones.
Great, because I don't know any of it.
Okay. Well, they had the premiere this week. Have you seen any of the pictures from that?
No, I haven't. No.
Everyone was there. The cast from the last season was there. Jason Momoa came back.
Wow.
Charles Dance, who played Tywin Lannister, came back. Joffrey was there. Hey. Like Sean Bean showed up. Like everyone was there.
I love that.
I'll send you a link to some of the photos. But they had the big premiere. Cersei wasn't there. She was sick and couldn't travel to New York.
Sure.
Because if I was a Game of Thrones fan and Cersei wasn't at an event she was supposed to be, I'd hesitate on going to said event.
Right, absolutely. Oh no.
But so that happened this week. Jason Momoa opened up, I think, on the red carpet about Emilia Clarke's health scares. Have you heard about this?
About that. I read that article. That was heartbreaking. I didn't know any of that.
And Jason Momoa was there for all of it. So he talked about how scary it was for him, like not knowing what was going to happen to his co-star. Because they've been close since he left the show. Like he's gone back for like the wrap parties and stuff just to be part of it. Like he's still part of the show, even though he died in the first season.
Right.
Jason Momoa just seems awesome.
He does. He seems like a cool guy.
But I'm glad that her health is doing better. Like, I'm glad she's okay. Like, that would have changed the show completely if she wasn't.
Yeah, for anyone listening that doesn't know, like, read that because it's harrowing.
Yeah. I think she posted it on her Instagram. Like, go check out Emilia Clarke's Instagram. She tells her whole idea, her whole story about her brain aneurysms and all of that.
Yeah, isms, multiple.
Yeah. And then Kit Harington hosted SNL this weekend.
And I missed it. I got to watch it.
Did you watch any of the clips that I sent you?
No, I'm going to watch it I'm going to watch the whole thing as soon as this podcast's over.
There's some Game of Thrones cameos in the monologue.
No way.
Because one of the best monologues that they can do on SNL is where the host takes questions from the audience.
Oh, cool.
They do that once a season, and I think the last time they did it was Tina Fey last year. And like Jerry Seinfeld,
really?
Jerry Seinfeld was in the audience, and Donald Glover, who had hosted like 2 weeks before, was like, "Hey, I think I left my hat here. Was it in your dressing room?" But so they did that. They did a parody of like different spinoffs of Game of Thrones. There's one really good one. I won't spoil it for you. But go check that out. I was watching it on Snapchat of all places. Snapchat, SNL has like really laid into Snapchat. Like, you can watch all of Weekend Update and they have it edited for Snapchat. So like the over the shoulder boxes that they usually have are just above them because it's vertical.
Oh, so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But I was like, why am I watching this? Like, as a videographer, this like is against everything that I love and cherish.
It should kill me.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like press going on right now. No one's saying anything about what's going to happen.
Good.
There's also a lot of merchandising out there right now. There's Game of Thrones Oreos.
What?
Yeah. The Oreos have the sigils on them.
Yes.
For each house. There's going to be Game of Thrones Mountain Dew with the cans when they're cold. Like, one can when it's cold will give you Arya's list with names crossed off of it. And of course there's alcohol, which I like to partake in.
Oh yeah. There's one by me. There's a Game of Thrones. I think it's a whiskey tasting.
Oh, really? Oh,
and I want to do it in the worst way.
Yeah. I've had the Johnny White Walker that they came out with.
Good?
It is good. I am saving some of it for the premiere.
Good.
And then I bought the, I've tried most of the beers that they've come out with, like these giant bottles of beer. I had the Queen of Seven Kingdoms, so the Cersei beer. I had the King of the North, the Jon Snow beer, which I was not a fan of.
Oh, no. Why? What kind was it?
It was an ale, I think. I'm not a huge ale fan.
Oh, I love ales. I'd like that one.
It wasn't a good ale. Chad didn't like it either.
Oh, Chad likes ale. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I think it was an ale. I don't know. And then I had the Mother of Dragons, which is fantastic.
What kind was that?
Hold on. I will check. I have it in the other. It was a smoked porter and kike ale blend.
Smoked porter had me. I like smoked things generally, like smoked almonds, smoked salmon. Like, I'm ready for that beer. I want that. And
there's another one too. That's the Hand of the Queen beer, which is the Tyrion beer, which I have not been able to find yet.
Oh, that's the one I want.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be my mission is I'm going to find a Game of Thrones beer by next week. And I'm going to, there's a box set. Their website has a beer finder for those of you who are really interested in finding this beer. It has a beer finder. So you can like search within so many miles of you. According to this, there's no Game of Thrones beer within 100 miles of me.
Damn.
That is so incredibly sad. What was the Daenerys beer?
Mother of Dragons.
Mother of Dragons.
Yes.
Oh shit, that's around me. All right, I'm buying that.
Yeah, that one's good. And if you can get
buy that most places.
If you like Scotch, I definitely recommend the Johnny White Walker.
Good, I will.
And freeze the bottle because it has a message.
Oh, yay. That's exciting.
Okay, so we're going to try to do these episodes right after the episodes air, if not the next morning.
Yeah.
And we'll get them out early Monday, Tuesday at the latest.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, so it's plenty of.
I'm excited for the last season.
I can't wait.
Mostly we're doing this so I have somebody to talk to about it.
Well, me too, because nobody in my house watches it.
Yeah. So Ryan will still be around for regular episodes. So
yeah,
to his mom who's listening, he'll be back. But yeah, so we'll be back next week talking about the premiere. Hopefully people survive the premiere at least. So
yeah, I can't believe it's so close.
Yeah, it's a week away, and
man. I'm excited.
It's gonna go
thoroughly
fast.
Excited.
It's gonna go fast. But then we have the 2-hour documentary about the last season.
What?
Oh yeah, they're doing the week after the finale. They are doing They're airing a documentary on the making of Game of Thrones.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you get a bonus episode pretty much. Like you don't have to wait for the DVD set to come out. You're getting this documentary.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm excited about that too then.
So, yeah. All right. So for You Have to Watch This Game of Thrones edition, I am Alan.
And I'm Devon.
And Lannister always pays their debts.